This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, so let me switch it to your workspace. Right. Yeah, so till last class, we have seen the very basics with respect to the browser, like browser operations, opening the application, closing the application, how to open different browsers. So that and all we have seen. Now today, we'll talk about how to perform action on the web element. See, in Selenium terminology, each and every object like text boxes, radio buttons, links, drop down list, so each and every object is treated as web element. So what are all the web elements are present? The objects present on the web page is called web elements. So in Selenium terminology, each and everything is treated as a web element. Example, text box, radio buttons, links, buttons, etc. So each and everything is treated as a web element. Okay, how to perform action on the web elements? How to perform action on the web elements? Let's say text box. If it is a text box, you are entering some text in the text box. Radio button, you will select it. If it is a link, you will click on it. If it is button, you will click on it. So how will you perform the actions on the web elements? Right. How to perform actions on the web element? How to perform actions on the web element? Yeah. So to perform actions on the web element, you need to do two things. One is identify the web element. So first thing is identify the web element. First thing is identifying the web element. So this is very important. So without identifying the web element, you cannot perform action on the web element. So it's not only Selenium. Whenever you are performing some action on the object, first what you need to do is you need to identify the web element. After identification, then perform action on the web element. Okay. The first thing is identifying the web element. Okay. So how to perform the action on the web element? So first thing is identifying the web element. After identification, then you can perform the action. Now the question is how to identifying the web element. How to identify the web element. So this is the question. See, to identify the web element, we are going to use a concept called locators. To identify the web element, we are using locators. We will use locators. Identifying the web element, it is going to taken care by, there is a concept called locators. We will use locators concept. So what is a locator? What is locator? What is locator?
This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So what is a locator? Locator is a mechanism which is using to identifying the web element. So which is represented in the form of key and value type. Locator is a mechanism representing in the form of key and value to identifying the web element. So what is a locator? Locator is a mechanism which is represented in the form of key and value for identifying the web element. So what are all the different locators are available in the WebDriver to identifying the web element? What are all the different locators are we going to use to identifying the web element? What are all the different locators are available to identifying the web element? ID, name, link text, partial link text, XPath, CSS selector, class name, and then tagging. So these are all the 8 different locators are we going to use to identifying the web element. See, you may have doubt, okay, so to identifying the web element, we need to use all the 8 locators at a time? No. Our goal is identifying the web element. So you can use any one of the locator to identifying the web element. So depends upon the situation, you can use any one of the locator. But without identifying the web element, you cannot perform the action. But generally, if the element is containing ID, then people are giving first preference for ID. The second preference people are giving for name. In the web page, for each and every element, if it contains either ID or name, then there is no point of working with other locators. In general, all the elements will not contain ID or name. So that's why, depends upon the situation, we are going to use other locators. So we will use a locator. Based on that, we are going to identifying and we are going to perform the action. Okay. So these are all the 8 different locators we are going to use it for identifying the web element. So even if you ask this question, people will tell only these 8 locators. In 3.x, they introduced 3 more locators like ID or name, by chain, by all. So like this, they introduced 3 more locators. From I think 3.4 or 3.5 onwards, they introduced 3 more locators for identifying the web element. Of course, it's not required to use these locators. In my experience, I never get chance to use these locators, but conceptually they provided these 3 more locators under. Okay. So, but even if you ask this question, everybody will tell only these 8 locators only. The extra they provided 3 more locators from 3.4 or 3.5 onwards. Okay. So these are all the 11 different locators are provided in the WebDriver for identifying the web element. Okay. Yeah. Any doubts so far?
No, sir.
Right. Srividya? Rosie,
No.
Saira?
No, sir.
Right. So now, how to identifying the locators? Which locator we need to use? So how to get the element information, or how to use, that means which locator we need to use it, how to get that information. So to get that information, first you need to find out the element information. If you want to know the locator, which locator we need to use, first you should know the element information. In the element information, it will tell you that which locator you need to use it. Now, how to get the element information? This is the question. How to get the element information? See, right click on the element, inspect, see, take any element, so next thing is what you need to do is right click and choose the option called inspect. Now see here below the information is highlighting, so let's say the username, this is the element information of the username. Now see, less than symbol, after less than symbol whatever it is there, that is called tag name, whereas some of the guys they call it as node name, okay. So input is tag name or node name. After tag name, whatever you are seeing like type, class, name, id, data-test id, all these things under is represented with like key and value type. Those are all called as attributes. The attributes will be in the form of key and value type. So what are all the attributes? Like type, name, id, class, etc. See, for each and every element, the tag name or attributes are going to different. Okay. Now see, in this example, so based on this concept, you can identifying with the tag name, this username, and you can identifying with the class name. Now see the class. You can identifying with the name. Name is there. You can identifying with the ID. ID is there. Okay. Now see, based on this element information, you can use any one of the locator. But since it is containing ID, the first preference people are giving for ID. The second preference people are giving for name. If ID or name, if it is not there, then depends upon the situation, you can use any other locator. Okay. So similarly, try to check for password. Go and inspect it. So this is the element information. Now see, the tag name is what? Input. The attributes like type, class, name, ID, all these are all the attributes. So this password you can identifying with the ID or name or class. So you can use any one of the locator for identifying the web element. So take any element, whatever you are trying to work. So on that, you just need to right click on the element and choose the option called inspect, and based on that you can perform the action. Let's say there is a forgotten account link. So how will you say that it is a link? Right click, inspect, right click and inspect. Now see, this is the element information. See, how will you tell that whether it is a link or not? If it is a link, the tag name for the link is A. A means anchor tag. A means anchor tag. The link is identifying with the tag name called A. And the remaining href and other attributes, these are all the other attributes. See, forgotten account is the link name. Forgotten account is the link name. So in this case, you can identifying with the link text. So this is the link name, and you can identifying with the link name. And see, the link text and partial link text are using to identifying the links. Partial link text means if the length of text, if the length of link is very huge, then what you can do is you can take the part of the link and then you can use it. So that's why it is called as partial link text. Okay, so that is also we will use it. Okay. So partial link text means if the text of the link is very lengthy, then you can take like the part of the link and then you can use it. So this link text and a partial link text are we going to use it for to work with links. Okay. So based on the element information, you can identify in the locators. Yeah. So take any element. So whatever you are trying to do, you can first identifying the web element. After identifying the web element, then you can perform the actions. For to identifying the web element, we are going to use locators concept. So that locators concept, which locator we need to use, that we are going to get it based on the element information. Okay. Yeah. Any doubts? Okay. Kusuma, Rosie, Saira, Srividya,
No.
others. Madam, shall I proceed?
No doubts.
Yeah, Kusuma, Rosie, Saira.
Yes,
Right,
sir.
right. Hmm. Now the question is, okay, we need to use locators. So which locator we need to use? That depends upon the element information, we will get it. Okay. Now the question is, how to use the locators in our programming? How to use locators in the Selenium scripts. How to use locators in the Selenium scripts. So to implement the scripts, we need to use locators. Then how to use it? See, we have two types of methods are available in the WebDrive. One is find element. This is one method. And the second one is find elements. This is the second method. We are going to use two methods. One is find element and the second one is find elements. So we will use these two methods to identifying the web element or web elements. See, find element, in the name itself it is there. It is going to find out web element. So once the method is executed, what it returns as part of this output, once the method is executed, what is output it is going to give you? It is return web element. It returns web element. As part of the program, what it returns? It returns web element. As part of the program, what it returns? It returns web element. Now see, the second case, once the method is executed, what it returns? See, in the name itself it is there, find elements. It returns one or more number of elements. It returns one or more number of elements. So programmatically, how to write it? Programmatically, we will write like this: list of web element. Find element, once the method is executed, it returns web element. Whereas find elements, it returns list of web elements. Programmatically, we will write like this. Okay. So how to use this locator? In the find element, how to use the locator for identifying the web element? Okay. So how to write it is, people are writing driver dot find element, driver dot find element bracket by dot locator, by dot locator. Like that we are going to use it. So find element, what it returns? It returns web element. Web element, let's say element name, or you can use variable name, any variable. Generally, for identifying the web element, they're going to put element name. I mean, once you get the web element name, you people are putting that element name for easy to identification. Okay, so this is how you are going to write in the program. So driver dot, there is a method called find element. Find element by dot, in which way you are going to identifying? So you are using some locator. That locator you are using it. So example, let's say here you are trying to identifying the username. You will write driver dot, you will write like this, driver dot find element by dot, let's say here you are using id, by dot id, and then id value is what? Email. id value is what? Email. Driver dot find element by dot id, and what is the id value? Id value is email. So here write like this, web element user. Similarly for password also, driver dot find element by dot name, here you can mention pass. Web element, let's say I'm giving them element name. So you are identifying the web element. After identifying the web element, then you can perform the action. So in the username, what is the action? You are entering username. So to type text in the text box, there is a method called send keys. There is a method called send keys. Send keys is the method which is using to type the text in the text box. So how to write? This is the username. That means this is the web element dot, there is a method called send keys, and then you can enter some value. So whatever the text you want to enter, that you can enter. So similarly for password also it's a text box, right? So what is the action you are entering? So password dot text send keys, here ABCD, like this you can enter. So send keys. Okay. So first is identifying the web element, and then the second one is performing the action. So for the password also, first you are identifying the password and then you are performing the action. So like this, for each and every web element, you need to perform the actions like this. So without identifying the web element, you cannot perform the actions on the web element. So similarly for find elements also the same syntax. Driver dot find elements by dot locator. So here we are going to use list of web element. Why? Because find elements, what it returns? It returns a list of web elements. Find elements, it returns list of web elements. So that's why we are writing like this. So list name, or you can mention element list name. Okay. So this is the syntax we are going to follow. find elements, it returns one or more number of elements. So to represent it, we are writing like this programmatically. Whereas find element, it returns single web element. So that's why we are writing like this. Okay. Yeah. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Others?
No.
Yeah. So let's see. Programmatic. So my first scenario is Google search. So what is my scenario is google.com. Okay. Google.com. After opening this page, I want to enter something like Selenium vacancies and then click on Google search button. In the result, these are all the result links, and I want to click on this Selenium jobs. So here, Hyderabad. So I want to click on this link. So this process I want to automate. This process I want to automate. Okay. Okay. So first thing is open the browser. I'll click this. Open the browser. Next, open the application. So driver.get driver.get. So here use http google.com. Next, finally close application. Write these steps. These are all the common for each and every scenario. So driver.close. See, by default, the browser is opening in the minimizing mode. By default, the browser is opening in the minimizing mode. If you want to maximize the browser, which is fitted to the screen size, what we can do is write the below command. Maximize the browser. So how to write? Driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. So this is the command you should write for maximizing the browser. So what this command it will do? If browser is maximized, if browser is maximized, it will not do anything. If it is not maximize the screen, then it will maximize it. If the browser is already maximized, then it will not do anything. If it is not, then it will maximize it. So to maximize the screen, we are writing driver.manage.window.maximize. So this is the command we are going to use it. Okay, this is the command we are going to use it to maximize the screen. So first let us run it. Right click, run as Java application. Now the screen is met. See, actually the script is executing very fast. What I want to do is, like, after application, after open the application, just wait for a few seconds and then close. Just wait for a few seconds and then close. So what we need to do is just write a statement called thread.sleep. Wait for 5 seconds. Write this statement. Then write this thread.sleep and then use 5000 milliseconds. Wait for 5 seconds and then write thread.sleep. See, 5000 milliseconds. 1 second is equal to 1000 milliseconds, and 5000 milliseconds means 5 seconds. So if you write this statement, what it will do, it is waiting for 5 seconds. Okay, now here you are getting some compilation issue. Just highlight it. Now see, it is saying like unhandled exception type interrupted exception, like that you are getting the message. So what it is saying is, if you write this statement, because of this statement you may get the exception while running the program, whether you want to handle it or you want to throw it. So that is what it is giving the information. See, always exceptions are occurred at runtime only. Remember that point. Always exceptions are occurred at runtime only. So by writing this statement, you may get the exception while running the program. So because of that, your program will terminate. So now you want to handle it or you want to throw it. That means you don't want to handle it. If you want to handle it, there is a statement called a try catch. If you don't want to handle it, there is a statement called throws. So right now, I don't want to handle it as a programmer. So if you get the exception at this line, I want to throw it. So that means if you are getting the exception during execution, internally the JVM will take care. Okay, so now see, highlight it. Now there are two solutions. One is add throws and the second one is surround with a try catch. So what you can do is just click on add throws declaration. Okay, surrounded with throws declaration. Okay, so but we will discuss it, what is the exception and what is exception handling, what are the different ways to handle the exception, that we will discuss it as part of Java programming after some time. But right now you just follow the instruction. Like even whenever you use this thread.sleep, So you are not interested to handle it, so that's why use this throws the exception. Okay, so but actually what this statement it is doing, it is waiting for 5 seconds. It is waiting for 5 seconds. Run as Java application. Now see, now see, it's waiting for 5 seconds and then closed. Before the script is the script is executed very fast. After open the application, it closed immediately. But now it is waiting for 5 seconds and then it is closed. Okay. So after open the application, so now I want to enter in the search text box. So now see, what you need to do is, so this is your search text box. Right click, first identifying the element, inspect element information. Now see, this is the element information. So it is not containing ID, but a name is there. So I'm going to use name for identifying the web element. Search text box and then enter, identifying search text box and enter Selenium vacancies. Identifying search text box and enter Selenium vacancies. So now driver dot find element by dot name. So what is the name? Q. What is the name value? It's a Q. So find element, what it returns? It returns web element. So just see web element and then, so this is search box, search box, search box. Now see web element. Now this web element is provided by who? The Selenium peoples. So this web element is implemented under org.openqa.selenium package. Okay, just click on this org.openqa.selenium.web element. Right. Now you identifying the web element. The next step is you need to enter the text. So web element is search box dot, then there is a method called send keys. There is a method called send keys. So within double quotes, you need to write what is the text you want to enter. Selenium vacancies. First, you are identifying the web element, that means search box, and then you are entering the text in the text box. So there is a method called send keys. Okay. Right click, run as Java application. Now see, it entered Selenium vacancies. Now see, to work on one single object or to work on single element, we are writing 2 lines of code. First, we are identifying the web element, and then you are performing the action. When you are working in the real-time projects, you are going to work with some thousands of objects like this. There you are going to implement some thousands of lines of code in your automation. For each and every element, if you are writing 2 lines of code, your code will be increased. That means the length of the code will be increased. So try to optimize it as much as you can. So we can combine these 2 lines in single line. How people are writing in the real time? The same 2 lines people are writing in the single line. How? So first, driver dot find element. Driver dot find element. Find element. It is written. It is executing web element, and after it returns web element, then you need to perform the action. So now to perform the action, it is same. Control C. That's it. See, the operation execution starts from left to right. So first it executing find element. Once it is returning web element, and then on that web element it is performing the action. Okay, so we can combine these 2 lines in the single line. We can combine these 2 lines in the single line. So this is the way people are writing in the real time. Instead of writing for each and every element in 2 lines, people are writing in the single line itself. Okay, so I'll do one thing. So I'll comment these 2 lines. I'll comment these 2 lines. That means this code will not execute, this code will execute. Right click, run as Java application. Now see, it entered Selenium vacancies. It is waiting for 5 seconds and then close the application. So like this, we need to implement the other scripts. So after that, you need to click on the search button, and then after clicking on it, you need to click on the result link. So all these things and all you need to take. So that we will continue tomorrow. Yeah, any doubts so far?
No. No.
Yeah. Okay, Kusuma, Rosie, Saira, Srividya.
Sir.
Yeah.
This conference will now be recorded.
So hereafter, the complete automation is depend on the locators and then find element and find elements. Without using these two concepts, you cannot work with Selenium automation. So we are going to use different kind of locators, depends upon our situation. To use those locators, we are going to use find element or find elements. So hereafter, our complete automation is depends upon these two concepts. And based on this two concepts, we are going to work with some different kind of scenarios.